Do you know that hearings happen year round? Even in a state like Virginia, my home state, where our session only lasts 30 to 45 days, legislative committees meet throughout the year. That means no matter what season you're in, it's hearing season. Yes, are you ready? So on today's Better Advocacy in 10 Minutes or Less, we're doing a deep dive on how you can create the maximum impact at a committee hearing. Okay, let's take a step back. What do I mean by maximum impact? I've been in plenty of hearings where there's a bombastic speaker or someone with a personal vendetta, and they're saying some outlandish things that gets everyone's attention, but no action. To be impactful, you want to be able to strengthen your position, motivate your allies, and sway some legislators. So, how do we do this? How do we speak at a hearing for maximum impact? All right, first, you want to do your research. Know your topic, both facts and stories. Legislators need stories to get their attention and draw them in to what you're saying. They're people, just like you and me, and they love a good story, but they also need facts. Facts are what they're voting on. If you can't show them there's a problem that needs fixing, and this bill will do it with some cold, hard numbers, you're likely not going to get their votes. Now, make sure you talk with your patron and other key supporters about what they need from you at the hearing. Are there certain aspects of your policy proposal that you need to highlight? Are there some areas that you want to avoid because it's more controversial? Listen to them and plan accordingly. Talk with opposing leaders and find out their concerns. Yes, go to your opponents. Have that conversation. It might be uncomfortable, but you know what? You're going to find out what they don't like about your policy. Sometimes it's even helpful to bring this up during your presentation to show that you're listening to them, as long as you do it in a respectful way. You may not win their vote, but if they feel heard, they're less likely to cause a fuss and derail your work. If it's your first time speaking in front of a hearing in your state, you also want to research what's expected of you. Know what you have to do to speak. In Virginia, you just stand up and walk to the mic when the chair asks for supporters or opponents, whichever you might be. In Arizona, you have to sign up online before the hearing and register, even if you're speaking in person. Some states allow virtual testimony, and you have to sign up at least a day in advance. Other states don't even allow you to testify online. Usually the staff of your legislator that you're working with can guide you on this. If you're not working with a legislator, there should be a committee staff listed online. Contact them and ask them for the proper process. All right, now that you know what you have to do, you want to find out what you should do. You want to follow the official and unofficial protocols. Each legislature has different norms and customs. There are certain ways to start talking: when you approach the podium, who you acknowledge in your salutation, and speaking time limits, among other things. If you're speaking in person and don't know what they are, ask a committee staff member, usually sitting near the front someplace, and they will explain everything. Or join somebody who's done it before and see how they act. See what things they're doing that aren't written down anywhere. Okay, next, now that you know everything you need to do and everything you should do, next you want to look and sound like an expert. All right, for the look, there isn't one answer to what this means. For some people, it's a power suit. For others, it's a branded t-shirt. If you're supporting a grassroots movement, having you speak with a bunch of folks in matching shirts that are the same as yours in that audience behind you, that's a powerful visual statement. If it's only you and a couple others, then it's probably best to look more professional. Bring that power suit, whatever that might be for you. That's the look part. Now, how about the sound? Public speaking can be stressful. The adrenaline makes you talk fast. You slur your words. You see that? Yeah. And a host of other issues you don't normally face when talking with friends. So how do you counter these? Monitor yourself. Watch your tempo. You're probably talking faster than you think. Listen to your volume. Are you speaking too softly or too loudly? Ooh, that was loud, wasn't it? Legislators will ask you to speak up, but I've never heard them tell someone to quiet down. Next, and this can be the hardest when your emotions have been triggered by a legislator or another speaker saying something ignorant or offensive, don't get defensive or be abrasive. We've all heard the talking heads and pundits on social media and partisan news attacking their absent opponents, and we can be tempted to respond the same way. But talking like a talking head won't win you votes. Legislators may speak like that on the campaign trail, but most want to maintain a certain level of decorum in these meetings. Now, the final part to sounding like an expert is that you have to know that you have those reports and statistics to back up your statements and reference them. Now, you don't have to have everything memorized, though having certain key facts memorized does help, but you do want your data easily accessible. How much has your proposal cost or saved in other states? How many people are impacted by the problem you've identified and its solution? What have the influential papers and media outlets in your state reported? All these are important facts that you can bring to strengthen your argument. So if you take all these steps together, you will sound like an expert and go a long way to advancing your cause. But when it comes to advancing your cause, hearings aren't just about influencing legislators. They're a great place to find new allies. Yes. If there's someone you don't know who's speaking on behalf of your bill or your policy, seek them out after you speak. Introduce yourself, share contact information, and follow up with them. If people can submit written testimony that's public, take time to review those comments and see what organizations or individuals are supporting your policy and reach out to them. These folks could be the next member of your coalition and bring contacts or knowledge that you're lacking. Finally, after all is said and done, after the committee hearing is wrapped up, all the votes have been taken, you want to check in with the legislator or aide you're working with about what your next steps are. Is there something that came up during the hearing that you need to address in order to move forward? Do you need to strategize on how to complete the next challenge to turn your passion into policy? Or maybe it's just a status update with when the next hearing or vote will be. They are your key ally and will guide you on these next steps as long as you ask. And that's the thing to remember here. A hearing is just one step in the process. Even if you have a hearing that goes poorly, it doesn't mean your policy proposal is dead. You can regroup, rework, and rebuild, and come back with a stronger proposal, stronger allies, and a new chance to turn your passion into policy. And I'll be here to help you with another
Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less.